It is new toy time, the Polytune Clip. I usually tune with this bad boy. I have no real other reason to try anything else because this is awesome. However, I needed a clip-on tuner and this piqued my interest because you can tune all of your strings at the same time. My first impressions after I took it out of this dinky little box is it's got a metal clip. So you know as a guitarist, if you're using something regularly, if you're having to open and close it, if something's going to go, that's going to go. It's got this really heavy duty chunky spring inside of it. I am very impressed with that. It feels dead meaty. Everything else about it is quite plain. It's quite a slim, low profile design that sits flush. There's not much going on there. We've got some good protective rubber here on both sides to look after our guitar. The button to turn it on and off is on the end there, and we have two function buttons on the side, all very low profile. And it came with a battery. Thank you. The look's taken care of. What does it do? Popping this on the guitar now, if I'm strong enough to open this clip. It only moves forwards and backwards, which seems less than what other tuners do because we don't have the rotational head. But the way I'm looking at it is there are less things to break on this. If you want to angle it, you can angle it using the position of the clip. The clip's really secure. Turning this on by this button right on the end here, if I press and hold that down, the display opens up. This tuner tunes bass. It's got a bass function and a guitar function. It's chromatic, which means it'll tune any note. Looking at the display style, it's currently set to the needle setting. I can change this to a strobe setting by pressing down the inside button on the bottom. So that changes the appearance of the display. So that's down to preference. I quite like either. I tend to prefer the needle. It's a really responsive tuner. I've been using this at the same time as my Boss TU3 while I've been getting used to it, and they are picking up exactly the same thing. It's extremely reliable. The thing that piqued my interest about this tuner in the beginning was its Polytune function. So you can strum all 6 strings at the same time and it will show you all 6 strings at once on the display. So if I just detune my low E string a little bit there, I can see with a quick reference that the E string is now too low and I need to tune it up. How I would choose to use this then is to take the individual string, in this case the E, and tune it up on the chromatic function. It seems the rest of my strings are in tune, so I can leave it at that. These screens switch between each other instantaneously. At the moment it's on the normal display of the individual chromatic string tuner. And then as soon as I strum all of my strings, it switches onto the Polytune display. One thing I really like about this display is that it will turn depending which direction you're using it. So they call it left hand, right hand, but essentially if you're using it on the front of your guitar and then you want to turn it to the back, the screen will rotate to flip the opposite way so you can read it, and that is pretty instantaneous. The other functions you can change are if you're using a capo on any fret up to fret 7, and if you're down tuning your guitar as far as a low B, you can change that within the tuner, but it will only change the Polytune function. So if I have a capo on 5, I strum all the strings and I've changed the tuner to capo 5, it will register the tuning within that situation. However, if I play the strings separately and it reverts to chromatic function, it is going to tell me that that E string's playing an A, that the A string's playing a D, that the D string's playing a G. It's good to be aware of that because you still do have to know what the pitch of the strings you're playing is. The things I really like about this tuner, it's got a metal clip, it's nice and sturdy, it's low profile, it's lightweight. It's really nice to tune with, really visible and instantaneous. I like the flip over screen. I think that's a really great touch. And the quick reference Polytune for the capo and the detuning is great. The little niggles I've found with it is that the on-off button's right on the end. So when it's actually on a guitar, I find it a bit faffy. I'd much prefer it on the opposite side to the other function buttons. That's personal preference. I love the Polytune function, it's great. However, there has been a slight discrepancy in the time that I've been using this between what the Poly function says on the reading and the individual chromatic reading of the strings. So I would use these two together. The Poly function's great as a quick reference. I get that completely, but then I would double check the individual strings as well, just to get a feel for your guitar. Price wise, I've seen this anywhere from between 40 and 60 pounds, depending where you buy it from. Other well-known tuners are between 20 and 30 or 20 and 40, depending what they're offering. So there's a whole spectrum that you can pay for these kind of things anyway. We know that. I think between the metal clip, the display functions and accuracy, and the Polytune aspect of it is well worth that. It's a great tuner. As a clip-on tuner, brilliant. If you're looking for other guitar gadgets or gift ideas, this video shows you 10 of my favourite accessories that will be absolutely indispensable.